Hi, my name is Jaci Russo. Welcome to my presentation, The 7 Fatal Flaws You Are Making with Your Advertising. Just for a little bit of context, I am not an SEO expert. I do not focus on search. And as I see you all dropping off and hanging up, I completely understand. What I do know is how to help you build your brand. That comes from identifying who your target audience is. It comes from understanding what messages are really going to connect with them. It comes from identifying why people should connect with you and then figuring out where those messages should go. I appreciate the need for search. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate the need for optimizing that search. Makes perfect sense to me. But what we're going to talk about today are 7 fatal flaws that a lot of people are making when it comes to not understanding everything that goes around that search. That's where branding comes in. I'll explain. So, search engines are like dating services, right? Or puppy matching services for the purpose of this conversation. So, you've got your Googles and your Yahoos and your Bings. At the end of the day, everybody's working towards the same thing. You want to get to the first page. Sure, that's the goal. So, let's say somebody's looking for a dog. Remember, it's a puppy matching service. So, they're going to do the thing you know they do. They're going to plug in all the important keywords. They're going to describe the kind of dog they want. It could be a great big ferocious dog. It could be a little bitty sweet yappy dog. At the end of the day, it's a dog and they know what they want and they want those search engines to help them find it, right? At its simplest form. I appreciate that y'all are working with a lot of really complicated technical algorithms and fancy things. I'm dealing with the branding part, sure. The 20,000 foot view, how do we get in front of them and make them pick us approach? So you're getting in front of them, I'm figuring out the picking part because here's what happens. Your purpose, getting them on the first page. So that's exactly what happens. I Google dog adoption and I get all these choices for dog adoption. Well, how am I going to know which thing on the first page or second page or third page to pick? That's where the branding kicks in. See, I told you we had a purpose in your place. You may think it's all about the search engine optimization part of it, but I know it's a little bit about the branding part because the branding part is what says when you've got those 13 choices on the first page, how do you get to be the one selected? That's where the brand kicks in. However, in addition to just getting you picked, because that's what the branding does, it also allows people to know why, or maybe even subliminally not why, but just that they need this. It really is what drives that ultimate decision making. It's all about building a brand. Now, for purpose of definition of our terms, branding is an emotional connection between that person and your company, your product, your service. So break that down just for a second. An emotional connection. Emotional. No, I am not going to put them in front of Hallmark Channel and make them watch 30 hours of Christmas movies and start crying. I don't mean those kinds of emotions. I mean a visceral gut reaction. I don't even know really why, but this is how I feel about it kind of thing. Because see, we often think that we make decisions for purely logical reasons, but we don't. We actually make most of our decisions for completely emotional ones, and we just use logic to justify that choice. See, branding is the thing that gets you picked. And the reason it's an emotional connection is because it's how we feel about something. We can't even really always verbalize exactly why we picked it. And that's when we say, oh, it's a really good deal, or I got it on sale, which would lead you to believe that price is what's driving this train, but it usually isn't. Only one thing can actually be the cheapest. Everybody else has to build their brand. So let's talk about the 7 fatal flaws that you're making with your advertising that's preventing you from doing that brand building thing that I keep claiming is so important. So number 1, you might be filling your keywords with industry terminology. So the client says, I have an HVAC company, so I want to see a whole bunch of search around HVAC. But the people who are actually doing the search don't even know what an HVAC is. They call it an air conditioner, y'all. So air conditioner, heater, make it colder, give me more air. That's how this works. So I know you know this, but make sure your clients do too. We do not want to get locked into all that crazy industry terminology. Instead, we want to speak the language of our audience. We want to focus on how they talk about their needs. So the dog example, do they describe that little bitty dog as a yap yap dog? Probably not. They probably describe it as a pocket poodle or a purse puppy or something else like that. So you want to make sure you're using the language they use, not get caught up on that industry terminology that is going to go right over the head of the consumer. And instead of connecting, which is what we want to do, it's going to disconnect, which is bad. It's bad because it's wasteful, and it's bad because you're not going to have the great success in the campaign that you want. Number two, and I tell you, every single client is guilty of this fatal flaw. Probably should have made it number one, but I was trying to throw in some SEO stuff for y'all. So number two, thinking everyone is your audience. And you know how it is. You're talking to somebody and you're like, okay, so who's your target audience? Everybody. No. I know that you think everyone is your audience, but who's your target audience? Everybody. You can't target everybody. That's not how this works. Not at all. You have to break it down. Primary, secondary, tertiary. You've got to zero in and be focused. And the reason why you have to focus on your target audience is because so much goes into this. You've got the demographics. That's the stuff up front that's obvious, right? But you've also got your psychographics. You've got your personality profiles. There's so much that goes into really identifying who your target audience is. The most important thing is it's going to be a group of people not segmented by age or gender or religion or income. It's mostly, and it should be, people grouped together by need, by similar pain point, because this is the solution that they're searching for. So when you start to get into understanding that, then you'll know exactly how to connect with them. It's going to be so obvious for you. All right. Number three, grouping just by demographics. Like I said, that is absolutely a fatal flaw. If you group just by demographics, you are going to miss the opportunity to really dig into who they are and what they're about. So don't get caught up in those details that put women 25 in the same bucket with women 54 because that's a demographic grouping. Okay, tell me what women 25 and 54 have in common other than being women. Not so much. They're in very different places of their life. Recent college graduate, about to be a grandparent, just starting out in their career, making the most they'll ever make on an annual basis. Thinking about maybe starting to consider dating someone sort of exclusively, second marriage. So when you've got those disparate differences, why in the world would you think they're all going to do the same thing the same way at the same time? They may both watch Grey's Anatomy, but they're not watching it the same way. One is streaming on Hulu and the other one's catching it like live as it happens on Thursday nights. So not the same people. Instead, look for the actual connective threads where you can group them together. So that's not demographics, that's psychographics. That's when you're speaking to their pain points. That's when you're really letting them know who you are and what you're about, and you're able to connect with them at a really deep level. That's when they see you at the top of their search result. They're going straight for you because you're speaking their language. You get them, you know who they are, you know what they're about, you know how to solve their problem. That's ultimately what you're trying to prove, right? Number four, blending in with the competition. Holy cow. This happens all the time. So a company, a person at a company technically, picks their head up, looks around and says, oh, industry average. This is what everybody in my industry is doing. These are the industry best practices. So I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, I mean, you can do that, but if you're doing the same thing that everybody else is doing, you're not standing out, you're blending in. Now, the reason why these herd animals blend in together is because they want to look bigger to the enemy, to the aggressor, to the entity that's going to come down from the side of that mountain and eat them. If they are this great big herd, then they look like one great big animal, and that is a big deterrent to the threat. The only time that they really run a risk of being lunch is if they stray from the herd and they can be seen as one solo entity, easily picked off and eaten, quite honestly. So you don't want to blend in when you're in business, but you do want to blend in when you're in the jungle because it's safer. So what happens is you do that because it's human nature for us to blend in, but you want to, as a business person, really stand out. You need to be different. Now, that could be a fundamental difference at your core. Tesla, full electric vehicles, they are fundamentally different. Or it could be a fundamental difference in your marketing. California Dairy Board with the Got Milk campaign. Or it could be a minor difference that you really talk about a lot. And you kind of plant your flag in it, like the Doubletree Hotel with their yummy chocolate chip cookies. A hotel is a hotel is a hotel, but they're saying, hey, it's not a mint on the pillow. It's a chocolate chip cookie. The whole place smells like fresh baked cookies. I mean, oh my gosh, it smells so good. I can think it right now. So you want to be different to stand out. That is scary. I get it. It's scary. It goes against everything you believe in. You feel exposed and a little bit naked and vulnerable. And it's really hard to be authentic and really who you are because you're just so out there on your own. But that's the way to get attention. That's the way to have people recognize you for who you are, what your company does, the products you sell, the services you provide. Don't be afraid to be different because it is the only way you're going to stand out. All right, our fifth fatal flaw, using generic features in your messaging. Our people make us great. Okay, bank, what happens when that person leaves? Are you no longer great? I want to get clarification on this. Is every person that works there great, but everybody that works at a different bank not great? Is that how that works? And you came from a different bank, so you sucked when you were at the other bank and you became great when you got to this bank? It's not your people that makes you great. Come on. World's best. Excellent scene from an awesome movie, Elf. World's best coffee. World's best hamburger. World's best pizza. First of all, the whole world hasn't tried it. Second of all, if you say that about yourself, how can we really believe it? Obviously, you're supposed to think that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we will. And what if I like my coffee to be super sweet and somebody else likes their coffee to be bitter and somebody else likes the chicory undertones in their coffee? How could it possibly be the world's best to all three of us? And then my personal favorite, 50 years in business. Well, bully for you. I am so glad you've kept your doors open for 50 years. No, sincerely, I really am. That's awesome. But what does that mean for me? What's in it for me? Where's the benefit for me? How does that make my life better that you've been in business for 50 years? Does that mean you're antiquated and out of date with modern technology and how things have changed in the past 50 years? Does that mean all your stuff is old? Does it mean that everybody who works there was born in another century? What does that mean? 50 years. So those are a bunch of generic features that do nothing for me or the connection that you're trying to build with me. Instead, you want to make the target audience the hero of your story. Crucial. Trust me. When you can make the target audience the hero of the story, you go from features, our people are great, world's best, 50 years in business, to benefits. When you use this product, this is how your life will be better, to hero story, which is all about them. You want to tell their story to them. You want to let them know you don't just speak their language, you feel what they're going through. And because of that, these are the things that you can provide, products and services, that will make their life better, sure. But it's not that you're the hero. You're the guide that gets them to the better life. Your products are the guide that helps them have a better life. So they can be the hero. That's the goal. So get beyond features, for sure, move right through benefits and get to that hero story where the target audience gets to wear the cape. Because if you make it about you and you're the hero, that is not going to resonate with them. That's you talking about yourself again. So don't do that. talk about them, make them the hero. That's really going to connect them. See, I told you these were things people were doing. Number 6, the companies that place their ads everywhere. And now you're thinking, wait, I'm just worried about search. Geez, when are you going to get into the part about the search? Well, this factors into that, because depending on where all the ads are determines how much budget they've wasted on a bunch of stupid stuff that's not going to help them when they could have been doing more in SEO. See, full circle right there for you. So that's the goal. Don't get distracted by traditional media and inbound media and digital advertising and social media. That's just going to pull you in all these different directions. Instead, make sure that the company is really dialed in and focused on who is our target audience and what message will connect with them. Then we get to the promise behind the brand. That's the why. That's why you do what you do, and that's why they should choose you. That's how you build an emotional connection. Then you only need 1 or 2 of these things to really make an impact, because 1 or 2 of these things are going to make them feel like it's everywhere. So then when they get to the first page of the search results and they see the name, they're like, I know those people. Perfect. See, full circle for you. Number 7. Oh, sorry. Let me finish number 6. So placing ads everywhere, that's the bad thing. The good thing is focusing on frequency over reach. When you could pull in just 1 or 2 things, well, now all of a sudden you're able to be more concentrated. You're able to go deeper. You're able to do more. And that's how they're going to see you all the time, because those are the 1 or 2 things they live in. Instead, you get spread really thin. You're trying to be all things to all people. Your messages aren't connecting because they're way too generic. And we're losing the opportunity to really build a bond that will build a brand. So do not try to reach everybody and convince them 10% of the way. Instead, reach 10% of the people and convince them 100% of the way. That's a target audience. And then once you've conquered your first target, you move on and conquer your second target and your third and your fourth. I'm not saying you have to lock in to those 10%. I'm saying you start with those 10%. Number 7, being reactive. Oh, go over here, solve this problem. Oh, go over there, solve that problem. Oh, media buyer deals with buying this thing and that thing. And it's just reaction, reaction, reaction. It's constantly putting out fires. So for example, you're a chef, dinner rush, you're in your kitchen, you're trying to get all those orders out and keep everybody moving forward and making sure everything tastes good. It's like hair on fire, the entire rush, right? So you probably aren't able to, in the middle of all that, sit down, create some new recipes, have some tastings, and write out an entire cookbook and new menu to get you through next year. Not so much. So what ends up happening is every time you get feedback from the floor, oh, they thought this had too much salt. Oh, they thought this was a little watery. Oh, they didn't like the color of that. You're reacting, reacting, reacting. Instead, you want to be proactive. When you can be proactive and develop a true strategic brand plan, then you can think 9 plays ahead. You can really start off on the right foot. And you're like, this is how it is. This is how we do it. This is the right way. This is our way. And you'll find your people that are drawn to that. See, that's the best part of this, is now all of a sudden, you're going to be marketing and branding in a way that allows you to be a magnet. You're attracting the people that totally want it and are good fit for it. And you're repelling, just like a magnet, the ones who are not a good fit, who are a waste of time and money, who aren't your best customers. So you want to use both ends of that magnet to its fullest potential. When you can develop that strategic brand plan, that's when you can really dig in and know that you're investing the right way, you're utilizing the right tools. So whether it's search engine optimization, it's updating your website, it's building out everything you need for social, it's digging into some PR opportunities, it's boosting up your sales and marketing, processes, whatever that might be. When you do it from a place of a strategic brand plan, now all of a sudden, you're going to get to the top of the search results and you're going to be the top choice. And that is ultimately the goal, right? So the 7 fatal flaws that you want to avoid: industry terminology, speak their language, please, having too broad an audience, zero in on their psychographics, how they think, how they feel, what makes them tick, demographic blinders. Do not get suckered into big demographic groups. Use their psychographics. Blending in, you want to stand out. Even though it may feel scary, do things that are different than everybody else. Generic messaging, do not, please, like today, go change it right now from we're the world's best, we have the best people, and how many years we've been in business. Nobody cares. Use benefits. Tell me how your products and services make people's lives better. Tell me my story and how I'm going to be the hero after using your products and services. That's the goal. Diluted marketing. Don't water it down. Concentrate it. And then being reactive and haphazard. Word of the day. Haphazard. It's just fun to say. So I hope this kind of got you thinking about the fatal flaws you might be making with your business or with your clients and some ways that you could do some things better. If you have questions, I'm available to answer them right now. If you want to take them off site and answer these questions in more detail, feel free. You can hit me up on my web address, brandstateu.com. This is a great thing that we're just about to launch that is an online community with classes and boot camps and challenges and some amazing information that you can dig into even deeper and get more knowledge. You don't have to do it all yourself. There are whole teams of people that can help you. And so go to brandstateu.com, sign up, and you'll get some information when we launch on how you can get information like this and more at your fingertips. Questions? Let me have it.